then which is now Astron, to supply Eskom.
Sisebenzisane ke nawo sasola ukuthi sisebenzise ke amandla kanye umsebenzi wethu ukuze sinikezele ke ngazo lezi zinsiza enkampanini ke yakwa Eskom.
I think the chair might be aware that there is difficult for HDSA companies to have access to storage facilities all over South Africa.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ke usihlalo unolwazi oluphelele ukuthi kunzima sohlanganisweni lwelezi inkampani ke zethu kube zibe nendlela yokungenelela ukuthi zikwazi ukuhambisa ke noma ke zigcine wona kumsebenzi kuloka oyela ke la ezwenikazi leSeningizimu Afrika.
5 years ago, Transnet board decided to facilitate the entry of black-owned companies to have access to the port. They have a place called Ambrose Park. I think maybe you're aware of the place, which is here in Durban.
Iminyakeni ke emihlanu ke idlulile sasuliye wenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke bathola ke indlela yokungena basebenze ke la ngaphakathi ke ezwenikazi leSeningizimu Afrika kuyindawo ke eyakhelwe ke la eThekwini. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi usihlalo kungenzeka ukuthi ke indawo ke akayazi kahle ke leyo.
The petroleum sector in South Africa is dominated by multinationals, which are foreign owned.
Le mboni ke kawela ke la ezwenikazi iphethwe ke lezi inkampani ke zangaphandle ukuzona ke futhi zikwazi ukuthi zingenelele nemininingwane yazo ke kulolu hlobo lokusebenza.
We approached Transnet with a business case in anticipation that all the refineries in South Africa, since most of them are old, will shut down.
Sizamile ukukhulumisana ke nenkampani kanye ke imboni yakwa Transnet ukuze ke sibonisane ukuthi ke yipi indlela nayo singakwazi ukuthi sifinyelela ngazivumelwaneni kodwa ke lokho akubanga ke nesiphumelo noma nesithelo ke ezinhle.
Then we signed the lease to develop the storage facility because, as I've mentioned earlier on, that the Morane Commission, in its own findings, found out that South Africa is a net importer of fuel.
Sibe sesayenda ke isivumelwano sokuthi kube khona ke isikhathi esizobulekana ke sona ke le ndawo yokusebenzela ngoba sibonile ukuthi iNingizimu Afrika ke ayinalo kuhlelo oluqondile lokwazi ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi lolu hlelo luhamba ngendlela efanelekile.
So we got the necessary permits, like the construction licenses from NERSA, EIA, and so forth. In our surprise, when there was a change in leadership in 2018, our project was subject to forensic investigation, but nothing could not be found.
Siyayithola ke imvume nika 2018 kodwa ke ngebhadi akuhambanga ngendlela esasifisa ke ngayo ngoba siyayithola ke sesiphenywa noma ke kungekho okungesingathi ke kutholakele kulelo phenyo okwabe kwa etafuleni ukuthi ke kuzosetshenziswa.
Instead of Transnet working with us, they are hostile towards us.
Kodwa ke ukuthi ke kunokuthi ke imboni yakwa Transnet isebenzisane ke nathi abasiphathi ke kahle neze.
The project here is supported by the KZN government, even the Thekwini municipality. They even included under catalytic program to fast track it, since it will create more than 1,500 jobs, and then post-construction 1,000. And in terms of revenue, fiscals and so forth, 528 million will be raised through the project.
Umsebenzi ke losu uthola uxhaso kakhulu uhulumeni nasukuthi awuxhaswa ke labo esilindele siba uxhase ngasesihlangothini zabantu ke abawuqonda kangcono kulomsebenzi. Abantu ke bangathola ke amathuba omsebenzi alinganiselwa ngaphezulu kuka 500,000 kulabo abangasebenzi abangathola ke amathuba kulomsebenzi bayithola ke sebesebenza ke kuyo lemboni.
The capex for the project is 4 billion. We have already raised money to kickstart the project, but Transnet is frustrating us.
Khona ke imali elingiselwa kuona ko 5 billion eseyibekelwe ke ebucaleni ukuthi ikwazi ukulekelela ukwenza ke lomsebenzi. Kodwa ke imboni ayisebenzisani kahle nathi.
We are very unhappy because we anticipate that the legally or left all measures will leave South Africa, BP and Shell.
Asijabulile ke inhlobo ngendlela keekusetshenzwa ke ngayo ngoba besinethemba lokuthi ke izinkampani ezinjengo Shell no BP zizawuphuma ke eNingizimu Afrika.
What will happen, because we've seen engineers already left, it's just sold it to Vitol, which is a trading house like ours.
Yini ke ezokwenzeka ngoba sesibonile ukuthi ke engine sewuphumile vele udayisiwe.
So I'm appealing to the chair. I've written to the chair. In fact, I didn't know he was coming. I only heard that he was here and said, okay, I'll try and find my way here to say, please intervene, because there's a potential risk of fuel supply.
Sizocela ke ukuthi ke usihlalo ke ngaphambili sibhalile sambhalela ke bese ngenaso isiqiniseko ukuthi uzoba khona ke lapha phambi ke namhlanje kodwa sethi nje siyacela sihlalo sicelo sethu ukuthi ke sizokwazi na ukuthi ke singenise inzuzo.
Because as you are aware, the petroleum sector contributes 360 billion per annum.
Njengoba ke unalo kulwazi ukuthi ke ulemboni ke noma lo msebenzi ungaletha ke imali elinganiselwa ku 360 billion njalo.
And then 30% to the national GDP.
Bese kuba ke ama% alinganiselwa ku 30 kuyona ke
And
GDP.
then we are the first black-owned company which has issued with a construction license after 29 years since this country got independence.
Si inkampani ke yokuqala nqa eyathola ke imvume okanye ke license yokusebenza eminyakeni ke u29 ukusebenza ke kulona ke izwekazi leSeningizimu Afrika.
Instead of being supported, but we are subjected into hostile attitude by the very same own state enterprise.
Ukuthi ke sithole ke imvume noma ke ukwamukelwa ngendlela elindelekile kodwa ke sithola ukucindezelo ke okukhulu ukusiphatha kabi ukuthi lokucindezelo ke kwenziwa ezinye ke izinkampani ke singaphansi kwakhe uhulumeni.
We have been everywhere, public protector, national speaker of parliament to raise our case, but into no avail.
Sesambe ke izindawo eziningi sizama ukuthi ke siyocela usizo kubalwa phakathi ke umnyango womvikeli womphakathi kodwa kaselithole ke usizo.
My question is why Transnet is refusing to embrace such huge investment despite the fact that our country is facing economic crisis?
Umbuzo ke ngasohlangothini lwami uthi ke kungani imboni yakwa Transnet inqaba ukuthi ke nayo ibe ingxenye yalomsebenzi ngoba phela iyaqonda ukuthi ke izwe lethu lesenkingeni enkulu ke esikhathini samanje.
Please check your inbox, Chair, because our worry is very soon the likelihood of our country, South Africa, to face the shortages of fuel is imminent.
Sizocela ke sihlalo phambili kuba ubhekisise kahle lapho ke ezinkundleni zakho zokuxhumana ngoba ke sinenkinga yokuthi ke la ezwenikazi lethu ke singase sizithole ke inkinga yethu ingasalapheki ke esikhathini ke sizayo uma ngabe singayilungisi kusemanje.
I thank you. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
No, Babishela, you said you wrote to me, it's fine. There is a lady there called Ayanda Boss. You can just interact with her. I didn't want to stop you because I might frustrate you more than your frustration you have. But don't borrow the same. Please, those ones that are coming, don't borrow the same. Next. Bam.
Sizocela ulandelayo ke esengaphambili.
Zoyehlisa impela ngoba ngumuthi. Ngiyabonga. Sanibonani.
Greetings to everyone.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke umphakathi waseThekwini. Ngiyanibingelela nani bantu baseParliament.
I'm greeting all of you.
Vumani phela. Manibingelele. Vumani. Ngiyanibingelela.
I'm greeting members of the
Sanibona bantu
portfolio committee.
baseParliament. Ngiyajabula ukunibona.
I'm happy to see you
Ngijwayele
all.
ukunibona ku TV. Nawe nje babu Luzipo ngangijwayele ukuza okhosini usakhulumela abasebenzi besatu.
I'm happy to see the portfolio committee
Ngiyabona
before me today.
namhlanje. Sawubona mama wengube bomvu.
I extend my greeting
Ngijabula
to the
ukubona.
woman in red. Thank you.
Igama lami ngingumhlala Duma iZulu.
My name is Mhlala Chuba.
Ngingowakashabalala isibongo. Igama labelungu ngingulakhi.
My surname is Shabalala.
Ngibuya
My
lena
English
ke
name is
emzini
Lucky.
waseNewcastle eDanawus.
I'm coming from a place called
La
Danaus.
kukhona khona lonke uhlobo lwemayini ongalicabanga. Akungiphathi kahle ukuthi sizothola ngomhlangano obaleke kangaka siuthole ko Facebook. Singazange satshelwa ukuthi iParliament liyeza kwaZulu Natal lifuna ukukhuluma nathi ngale bill. Sithole ko Facebook. Lento ke seyijwayelekile ukuthi njalo iParliament maliza thina esibuya ngalezansi eNewcastle la khona zonke lezi imboni la nibeke khona ningasitsheli. Asazi ke
sit
noma
well
ke
with me.
asesiba base South Africa yini thina.
Sicela ukutolikela baba. It doesn't sit well with me, Chairperson. The fact that we are not informed on time when it comes to meeting of this nature, we only find out about them on Facebook, which is a social media that does not sit well with us. We are citizens of this country. However, we want to be told properly in proper platforms as to when these meetings are taking place because we are concerned citizens of this country.
Yebo njengoba size lapha nje sikhokhele itekisi sikhokhe 9,000 imali yethu ukuza la.
We are here, we booked a taxi to come here that cost at least about 9,000 just to be present in this meeting.
Ngoba vele siyazi ukuthi ngeke nize Newcastle.
Because we are aware that the portfolio committee is not going to come to Newcastle.
Lungileke.
It's all right.
Asikhulume nani ke.
We may speak.
Sifuna ukukhuluma ngale bill kodwa manje ngeke sikhulume ngento esingayazi ayo esingazange satshelwa ngayo. Asazi ukuthi ke nani publishe kuphi ukuthi thina siyibone ngoba ama office wenu alapha eThekwini nalabantu beni balapha eThekwini uma sibabiza abafuna ukuza original manager beni angazi senibashintshe kangaki
We'd
cishe
like-
senishintshe about 4 ama regional manager njengamanje khona ofikile ngiyabona wale ko Ramaphosa bathi uRavogoni naye kade simbiza lo Nsundeni Ravagoni ukuthi woza wena sizokhuluma nawe akafuni ukuza kuzokhuluma nathi iyasibulala lento yenu yokuba nama officer kude kangaka.
We'd like to make our contributions, to register our contributions to this particular bill. However, we are finding it difficult to do, Chairperson, simply because the offices are located too far from where we live as the residences. And the change in terms of officials is also concerning because when officials are changed or rotated, we are not being informed of those. We just found out recently that there is a new official. However, we met the person on the go. So it's concerning that when officials are being rotated, we should be informed as members of the public.
Okay. Kodwa make sisho nje ngokungananazi ukuthi ngeke siyivume lento enize ngayo le bill le ngeke siyivume siyayichitha.
We are going to register it without fear of contradiction. That we stand to reject this bill. We're not going to allow it.
Sifuna ukuchaza ke siyazi ukuthi lento yokumbiwa kwa oil no gas into kaMama loya wayebizwa ukuthi uEdna Molewa bekanye nomhlonishwa umsholozi bephusha into yabo wakuthiwa iOperation Phakisa asazi kuphakiswa kiwa kuphi.
We are aware that this bill was proposed, or a bill of this nature was proposed on the previous years by 2 officials by the name of Molewa and Mr. Msholozi. However, we don't know what was the intention behind it doing so, even it was not written the same way as it is now by Operation Pakisa. However, we don't know what was the reason for them to do that.
Siphinde sichaze ukuthi umsebenzi kaDMR siyawazi ukuthi ukuregulator imining ukuthi akube khona imining ngeke kwenzeke uDMR wakho Baba Luzipo uphikisane nokuthi kube khona imining noma ngabe thina singayifuni kodwa ngeke kwenzeke ukuthi umnyango wakho uphikisane nokuthi ingabi khona noma singabeka izathu ezibambekayo ezinkulu kangakanani kodwa umnyango wakho ngeke uzithathe ngoba ninomsebenzi ukuthi nina ni promote ukuthi akube khona imining anina ndaba ukuthi sithini.
We are also aware that the DMI stands to regulate in terms of how mining is supposed to operate. So it is unlikely from the part of the chairperson and the portfolio committee itself that they will oppose or rather take our views if we say we stand to oppose this particular bill, because we know that you are interested in terms of the outcomes of this bill, as your role is to regulate but not to take our views as you stand to benefit from this.
Ukuthi ngizose ngishelwe isikhathi anginike sona kungcono ungangitolikeli vele ngishaye nje ngomageba ngiqede ngenxa ngoba isikhathi uzosuka angihlalise phansi ngesikhathi utolika manje ngcono vele ngishaye konke. Ngivele ngishaye ngomageba manje yabona ke bantu baseParliament leminyango yenu yonke iyasidida manje ngoba kunokucabana okukhona kule minyango yenu njoba siqale ngowakho uDMR umnyango weeconomic wona owokuthuthukisa umnotho kodwa umnotho mabekhuluma ngomnotho wasolwandle bakhuluma ngomnotho ozosiza uShell yena yedwa inkampani yaphesheya abakhulumi ngomnotho ozosiza abantu nje abafana nami njengomhlaladumo noma abantu laba abala eThekwini abaphila ngokudoba lapha yana olwandle abancishwa ngisho ama license labo bantu bona bashiwe ngaphandle kukhulunywa ngoShell isikhondla khondla ukuthi uShell uye oqhamuka azothuthukisa umnotho kodwa siyamangala ukuthi umuntu waphesheya angawuthuthukisa yena umnotho wakwelinyizwe okungelone lakhe noma uzothatha lokho aye nako phesheya umnyango wezomhlaba
The manner in which
Xolisi.
Ngiyakuzwa mina. Ngithi ngicela bakhombise esinye iskill abanaso. Babhale phansi. Maqedwe ulathi kumshengu base beyatolika ke ngesingisi.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, ngiyabonga. Manje ke njengoba ngeke ngasho ekuqaleni ukuthi ke le bill thina
No,
siya
it's simple. He's gonna say it in Zulu, and then the interpreters, when it's done, will do the English interpretation. Sorry for not doing that.
ngoba bese ngikhulume ngomnyango wezomhlaba ngasho ukuthi futhi thina le bill siyayichitha. Thina omkhulu bethu baphucwa umhlaba amabhunu. Manje umnyango wezomhlaba lo kaThokodidisa siloku salinda ukuthi basibuyisele umhlaba wethu abawubuyisi lokhu safaka ama application ngokwe Labor Tenant Act abasibuyiseli umhlaba wethu kuwo wona lo mhlaba lo nina senifaka abantu ngalo muntu esingamazi kuthiwa uphasa lo phasa lo okungukuthi usho ukuthi uphasa lo so ungaphezulu kwenu nonke ngoba nguye ofaka labantu be-oil and gas manje ubafaka nala sifake khona ama-claim ukuthi sibuyele umhlaba wethu nala kudla khona iy'nkomo zethu nala siphuza khona amanzi asemfuleni ngoba phela amakhansela awasinikeza amanzi siphuza amanzi wasemfuleni kodwa lo phasa ufuna ukufaka ukuthi kumbiwe u-oil no-gas ngalento le abayibiza ngokuthi yi-fracking umhlaba wethu ungakabuyi manje-ke njengoba ngisho ukuthi siyayiphikisa lento siyiphikisa ngokuthi uma ivumeleka ukuthi ibe khona akukho la sithola khona ukuthi kena thina njengabantu basemakhaya sizosizakala kanjani la kuzobe kwenzeka khona lento ngoba lapha kwiDrakensberg yila kuyongena khona ikhampani ekuthiwa uRhino Oil and Gas kungene khona ikhampani ekuthiwa uSungusungu kuphinde manje kukhona ikhampani ekuthiwa uSLR le khampani le ihambe yayo consult abantu base Free State kodwa ke izo testa ukuthi uoil ukhona yini itesta eKZN eNewcastle uma sifika kuyona sikhuluma nayo ukuthi kena ubani okunikeza igunya lokuthi wenze lento oyenza ngoba so uyadrill basikhombisa incwadi yakaphasa masiyifunda lencwadi yakaphasa ithi baconsultiwe abantu kodwa masithi siyabheka obani laba baconsultiwe abantu bakwenye province la kungenzeki khona le drilling so ingakho sithi iminyango yenu iyatlasha nje kaningi ngoba bane environmental authorization labantu abayinikezwe umnyango wezemvelo kodwa kungakhulunywanga nathi futhi into esiyiphikisayo nokuthi kena uoil ukhishwe olwandle phela ulwandle siyalithanda sonke siyathanda ukusuka eNewcastle sizobhukuda olwandle ngoba lukho ngakithi sibungene ephuma siyathanda kodwa mase nithi nifuna ukukhipha uoil olwandle sibuza umbuzo owodwa ukuthi lezi lwanyana ezilapha olwandle phansi ekujuleni kolwandle zizophila kanjani zizophila ngani ngoba siyazi ukuthi laba uma betesta baphatha izinto ezingamabhomu lemkhumbi yabo inamabhomu adubulayo ngalesikhathi kuqhuma njengasemayini kuqhuma iblasting emayini makuqhuma iblasting izindlu zabantu ziyacrack nasolwandle ngeke kwenzeke ukuthi iblasting mayenzeka noma nibiza yini mayenzeka lento yenu zingafi lezilwane ezilapha yana olwandle noma zingaphazamiseki ngoba ezinye zazo uma kufanele ukuthi ziyohlangana ukuze kube khona ezinye zandisane zezalana ziyacommunicate ngendlela yazo zibange umsindo ukuthi kena sizohlangana ndawana thizeni manje mase kuqhuma seziyabaleka so uthe sesiphelele isikhathi sami lungileke baba kodwa into esishoyo yileyo ukuthi ke siyaphikisana nalento le bill ngoba azange niyikhulume nathi mhlambe niyoba nesikhathi ukuthi nibuyele eParliament sikwazi ukuthi kena siyixoxeni ngoba lento eniza ngayo yokumbiwa kwaoil no gas izokwenzeka la sihlala khona yebo intuthuko siyayifuna kodwa sifuna intuthuko eshiya thina ngaphandle izokwenziwa abantu baphesheya bakwamanye amazwe esingabazi abangakhulumi ngisho ilanguage mhlawumbe bakhuluma isiGreek into esingayazi siyabonga
Mshengu. Ngiyake Mshengu. Kona kungesonto. Share ama details wakho there. Ulasisu Ayanda. But don't leave, we must meet with you just after this session.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson. We have two conflicting matters. Only two conflicting matters we'd like to begin with. The first one is the conflict. The conflict between two parties, that being the office of the MDR itself, and then the multinational company called Shell. Because we don't understand, our understanding is not clear in terms of what are the dealings, how are they communicating amongst themselves? And the communication is not clear when it comes to us as the public members as to how Shell is operating and what are the agreements is Shell having with MDR itself. And we are having a difficulty in terms of the communication that is supposed to be extended to us as community members of Newcastle. It is very unclear to us as to what does this body called PASA in terms of the powers they have. Because it seems like they are the ones now who are negotiating. It seems like they are the ones who are regulating everything. It seems like they are the ones who are given powers now to officiate things that should be initiated by the portfolio committee or the Department of the Minerals themselves. They're not doing that. So we don't understand in terms of this body called PASA. It should really be clear of their involvement with this particular bill as to are they stand to benefit anything or not. Also in Newcastle, there are two companies that have been found to be working in that particular place by the name of Rhino Horn. And now these guys, they were found to be working there. We're not aware where they got their licenses from. We're not aware as to whether the authorities who gave them permission to work there, who they are. However, we found that they are already in operation that side. Now, if we go to converse and ask questions as to who gave them permission to work on that side, we're not getting that. However, the offices are far if we have to maneuver all the way from Newcastle to Durban. We're not finding joy in that regard as well because we want to be involved as members of the community. Now, the last part will be the part of the environment. The ecosystem in our oceans is going to be destabilized because these multinational companies, when they come to our shores, they bring equipment, they use what is called dynamites, and when they drop those particular dynamites in our oceans, in our seas, they destabilize the ecosystems, our fisheries. Now, the behavior of the fisheries, it becomes problematic because now we know that there are those who benefit from doing fishes in our seas and in our shores. Now, those people are affected if they can't run the coastlines economy appropriately as it's supposed to be done. Now, we are pleading that if those things are not going to be checked properly and we're not going to be given clarity as to how the portfolio committee or the department itself is going to maneuver along those lines, then we are saying this bill should be rejected. I thank you.
Ngiyabingelela sihlalo nekomiti ngaphambili.
I will extend my greetings to the chairperson and the portfolio committee before us.
Besingajabula uma lo mthetho oshaywayo umuntu ompisholo enga participator kwi value chain yonke kawoyela.
It will be appreciated from our part if this bill or rather the proposed bill itself will give us as black people a chance or rather a leeway to be able to participate fully in the value chain of this particular bill.
Singehlelwa esahlelwa yikho egolideni elimbiwa lapha liyohluzwa phesheya.
Because we don't find ourselves being subjected to the very same exploitation that had happened previously, where we found that gold that is being extracted in our country is being processed abroad.
Bese libuya selibiza kakhulu.
And when it returns to this country, we find it's very expensive.
Siyakuthokozela futhi ukuthi kube naleli gama elithi contact wi percentage thina esongena kuyo kuoyela ngisho ngabe u10 noma number bani kodwa kube thina ndisikhona ka ukuthi nami sinama percent.
We'll also appreciate if there's a particular specifically to us as black people, just to say that in whatever dealings that are going to be happening, but we do have a percentage specifically attached to us.
Sikuthokozele futhi ukuthi kuqanjwe uma kungaqanjwa inkampani entsha ngoba zonke lezi ezinye zaqanjwa before 1994 zonakele.
Would also appreciate it if a new company were to be established, because we do realize, and it's our understanding, that all those companies that were established before the year of 1994 are now in a state of collapse.
Ngoba sasingekho lezi company okuthiwa ama state owned companies zakhiwa asikaze sibe naleli igama elishona namhla ethiwa i-public hearing besingazazi thina lezi zinto. Siyabonga ukuthi sizoba ingxenye yaleyo nkampani.
We were unfortunate during the previous years because public hearings were not held like it's being done now in terms of involving us as public members to be able to make our contributions. However, we'd like to extend our thankful greatness to the portfolio committee to afford us an opportunity to come and register our contributions.
Okunye ngikuzwile ukuhlukanisa umnyango lo wezongbiwa kwahoyela uhlukanise kulokho okukhona njengamanje. Lokho kuyokwenza ukuthi kube lula. Uyabona inkinga amaziziningi akufaneke ucabanga ukuthi uzolungisa inkinga eziningi ebhodweni elilodwa. Uyabona nje manje ma kuthiwa kuzohlukana sibhekane newoyela siyabona ukuthi soqondana newoyela ngqo. Mangifuna ukuceba nje kuwoyela ngizovela ngiqondane nokuceba kuwoyela.
We also appreciate the fact that it is highlighted in this particular bill that there's going to be a proposed separation when it comes to the mineral department, and also this new proposed state entity that is going to specifically deal with the oil and gas extraction, so that will give us a proper understanding and a leeway in terms of we want to channel ourselves specifically to the oil extraction. We'll be able to do that without interfering with the minerals.
Ngiyabonga.
I thank you.
Sorry, you didn't give us your name. Aibo. You didn't give us your name.
Awusinikeza ngamagama akho baba.
Igama lami Thula Mkhwanazi ka Ward 84 eMlazi.
My name is Tula Mkhwanazi. I'm coming from Ward 84 at Umlazi.
You reject the bill.
Ibill ngiyisupporta kakhulu.
I support the bill, Chairperson.
Can I speak? Good day to all.
Closer.
Good day to one and all in this place.
Shall we have some order to
I-
listen to the next speaker?
I am Leila Abrahams from KZN Substance Fishing Forum.
Sibingelele nonke igama lami nguLela Abrahams ngiphuma ke enhlanganweni yazabadobi.
This bill, is this a government project or is it a foreign country who is what reject of going to come in?
Ngabe kumsebenzi ke lo ozophathwa ke izandla zikahulumeni waseNingizimu Afrika na noma ngabe kumsebenzi kozolethwa ilawa aphuma ke emazweni ke amaphandle esingavumelani ke nawo.
How many jobs will be created for our people?
Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi ke mingakanani imisebenzi ezokwenziwa la ezoqondana ke ngqo nabantu ke bakithi.
The importation, what about the atmosphere? What about the marine life?
Sifuna ukwazi ukuthi ke ukuphazamiseka kwezilwanyana ke ezihlala kulezi ndawo kuzoba ke ngakanani kuphinde futhi kube izilwane ke ehlala phakathi kolwandle zona ke zizonakekela ke kanjani.
Is that going to be destroyed because of few jobs?
Ngabe ke konke lokho kuzowudicileka phansi ke na ngenxa nje ke yemisebenzi embalwa.
And the bulk of money which goes to a few until leaves and a dead seabed.
Ngemali ke esaziyo ukuthi ke izoya ebantwini ke abambalwa hayi bonke abantu.
What about the marine life? Extinct, like the dinosaurs.
Yilwane ke zethu ke eziphila ke olwandle kuzokwenzakalani ngengazo ke na ngabe ke zizophela yini njengoba ke kwaphela ke izolwane ke zakudala ezaziwa ngokuthi ke ama dinosaur
For the greed of money, not worth it.
ngenxa nje yokuthi ke mhlawumbe ke sinenhliziyo ke engaphandle yokuthola ke imali ke futhi engeke silekelele ukubuyiswa ke lezo yilwane eziyobe sezilimele.
We reject this bill. What is going to happen to thousands of fishermen who live off the ocean? How are they going to survive?
Sithi ke cha lo mthetho ke ophakanyiswayo siyawuphikisa sivumelani ke nawo Nhlobo ngoba sazi bekuzokwenzakalani kulabo ke abasiphilisa ngokudoba ukuthi bazophila kanjani uma kwenzeka umsebenzi thola bengasakwazi ukuqhubeka nokwenza umsebenzi wokudoba.
What about our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren? They wouldn't even know what a species of fish is going to be. They don't even know what a dolphin going to be looking like.
Kuzokwenzakalani ngeingane ke zethu ke ezisakhula nalezo ke ezingakazalwa ngoba ke ziyobe sesingasazi ke Nhlobo ukuthi ke izinhlanzi kwakuyinto ke ebukeka kanjani noma ke lezo ke zaziwa ngokuthi ke ama-dolphin kwakuyinto ke enjani ke yona leyo ngoba ke ziyobe zingasekho.
Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Ngibingelele kuhlalo ngaphambili nethimba lakhe.
Let's send my greetings to the chairperson in front of us and the whole committee.
Ngibingelele umphakathi ogcwele ihholo.
And I will greet the community inside the hall.
Igama lami nguZamokuhle Isibongo kaManqele.
My name is Samokuhle Manele,
Ngiqhamuka eNew Germany kuWard 21
coming from New Germany, Ward 21
khona la eThekwini.
in Durban.
Mina ngidisappointed ngale bill. Akukhombisi ukuthi uminister osuka kule department impela uyikomanisi. Indlela ibill ebazibe ngayo abantu.
I am disappointed about the bill, Chairperson, because it doesn't show that the person aligned with this bill is a communist, the manner in which it ignores the interest of the public.
Ngikushiswa yilokhu ngoba first of all u10% mncane
I'm
ukuthi
saying this-
unganika abantu baseningizimu Afrika abamnyama iminimum ewu10% kuyinto embiwa emhlabeni wabo.
I am saying this, Chairperson, because I feel that 10 too far, too little when it comes to it being offered to those who are indigenous people of this country with minerals that are going to be extracted on the land of their own.
Bengizozwa if sithi minimum iqala ku 25%. Ngishiso yini lo 25% wale minimum we black participants. It's because awukhulumi ngecommunity ukhuluma ngeindividual. If ukhuluma ngeindividual okusho ukuthi uzamo angaya ka BP athi BP asambeni somba upetrol nini ku 25% wami basale ngaphandle abanye abantu and I become rich alone while others are suffering.
I'm registering my concern, Chairperson, simply because this bill doesn't seem to be speaking to everyone. Only a few or other individuals that seems to stand to benefit from or out of this bill. Because I can go alone individually as Zamo and make a deal, say with Shell or BP to say that this is my offering. If they give me, say, 20% out of what we're going to be agreeing on, then I will leave with the 20%, a rich individual, but not as a community, meaning that those who will not be part of that agreement will remain poor.
As I support a black participation, which ngicela inyuswe ibeke ku 25% than 10%, but kunento ekumele si-add a community participation through ama-co-ops. Because umphakathi okuyiwona osuke usurrounde lezi inkampani okwenzeka wonke lama projects kuzona iwona okumele uzuze ngaphezulu kwama individual. Ngikushiso yini lokhu kungenzeka nguzamo ngihlalele Limpopo ngihambe ngeNewcastle ngifaka u10% wami kwimayini engakhona eNewcastle baqhubeke bayilambela abantu baseNewcastle but I benefit and inkampani izokutshela ukuthi yona ilandele yonke imigubhu yebill.
My input will be that I feel that at least 30% participation of black people should be seen as a means and should be recommended opposed to a 10% proposed by the bill. Because I feel that it's going to benefit individuals only and not to uplift the masses. However, if I'll make a practical example as more, if I go to Newcastle and ask for an agreement with a multinational company there, and they offer me, say, at least 20% of what they will be extracting from that particular area, I will be rich, but as an individual, and masses will be left behind, still remain poor.
So ngiyacela ukuthi singawu remove lo 10% we black participation siunyusa ubo 25% mase sieda u15% minimum wama co-op ama communities surrounding these companies ezobe zizakha zithola khona lama minerals.
So I will suggest that at least 25% must be given to black participants. And then an additional 15% should specialists who are running co-ops so that at least they can also be uplifted.
The Petroleum Development and Environmental Committee.
Then I will come back to Petroleum Development Committee.
Again, ngibuka leli committee lisazoba neinkinga or lisazodala inkinga. Because if ngifunda la, leli committee, it's a national committee. While namanje having a problem yokuthi you go to national committees which are there dealing with such, they are busy or they are taking too long to respond to the people. So it's better to have ama committees that are established, it's either regionals or provincials, than to have one committee which is a national committee overseen by only a minister or national.
Sinenkinga ke futhi masibheka ikomiti ke lelikhulunywa ngalo la ngoba siyabona ukuthi ke lisebenza kakhulu lapha ke kuzwelonke. Okwenza kube inkinga kakhulu ngasohlangothini labantu abasemazingeni ke aphansi ngoba bazithola benenkinga ukuthi abakwazi ukufinyelela ke lapha emazingeni aphezulu bakhulumisane ke nezikhulu ukubeka ke izimfuno kwezabo. Lokho kwenza ukuthi ke labo bangasizakali. Sizocela ukuthi ke uma kwenziwa ke lezi inhlaka qinisekisa ukuthi ziyehliswa leso ke emazingeni aphansi kwizifundazwe kwizifunda la abantu behlala khona bezokwazi ukuthi mabe befisa ukuthola usizo bangene basizakale ngaphakathi.
Lokhu kuzosiza einkingeni eziningi esibhekena nazo ekubridgweni kwemthetho or kwekubridgweni kwama processes of giving ama license kwi petroleum industry. Njengamanje we are having a problem ku South Coast where Shell want to ukudonsa oil olwandle. Umphakathi every time uhlezi ukhala ngento eyodwa awuconsult. Kodwa njalo uShela unqena ukubuyisa ubatshela ukuthi no, a national committee isisivumelile yasigrant ukuthi nomsebenzi. Okuyikho ngigqugquzela ukuthi siyacela ukuthi kube khona ama committee akuma regional phases or kuma provincial phases ukuze akwazi ukusebenza eduze nabantu. Ngalawo mazwi nami ngihamba kulo line othi I reject iproposal until kuze kube ibill evuna abantu baseningizimu Afrika. Ngoba kuyimanje uya kwi-supplying uya engbiweni kwa oil kusayinkampani zama multinationals okuyizona ezihamba phambili. Why sifuna futhi ukuyihambisa phambili noma sesizomba uoil endaweni yethu ezweni lethu?
It is concerning Chairperson and portfolio members before us that we have a problem in this country, that consultation is a problem. When it comes to national committee, it is very difficult to reach them as there are no committees that are established in regions. So we are pleading with the portfolio committee and the department that at least we have those committees established in our regions, closer to our people, closer to where people live in our communities, so that at least the communication can be nearer to those who need the information the most. We are saying this, Chairperson, because you will find that in some of the communities, when people come into contact with these particular multinational companies, there is a problem because when this interaction happens, people are confused. And when they ask questions, they are told by those multinational companies that no, we have an agreement and we've been granted permission to continue to mine in this particular area. However, that particular information is not known by people of those particular residents. Now it leaves a gap that needs to be filled. That is why we are asking the portfolio committee to make recommendations for these committees to be established in our regions closer to our people. So I am going to say that I reject this bill simply because it does not speak to the masses. I reject it until further amendments are made for it to be at least in a position where I can say I support it. I thank you.
Ngiyabonga, ngiyabingelela ikomiti ngaphambili, ngibingelele umphakathi wonke waseThekwini. uNtombizeni Ngcobo lona from Ward 84 eMlazi.
My name is Ntombizeni Ngcobo from Ward 84 Emlazi. I thank the opportunity granted to me by the committee and also greet the committee and the community at large.
Okay. Ngizoqala nje ngawo nje lo 10% ukuthi ke asazi nathi noma nani nishilutha nazi bafike kanjani kuona. Siyabantu abamnyama nje sisodwa eSouth Africa asiwenzi u10%, senza more than that. So udrafte le bill uthathe iphiloko usebenzise iphi formula, and again uma le bill izothi ene abantu abamnyama thina la eSouth Africa sazi ukuthi ke si diverse. What about others uma izofaka thina kuphela? So asenzini lokho kwakwenziwa abelungu uma beshaya imithetho beshayela bona bodwa beshiya ngaphandle thina. So nala ngikhala ngalokho kulo 10%, nanokuthi ke uma ke lo 10% unyuka awunyuke ngalendlela ukuthi ukwazi uku-accommodate abantu base South Africa as a whole, nanokuthi kuba ugovernment ozokwazi ukuthi ke abe phambili kungabi inkampani ngoba already siyazi ukuthi inkampani yaphesheya ezophatha la.
My first concern, Honorable Chairperson, will be the 10% that is proposed with this bill. It's not enough. And I'm also questioning the mindset and the logic behind the person who constructed this particular bill, because in no way can we agree that as black people in this country, we constitute 10%. I believe that we are more than 10% as black people in this country. So it does not make sense to me that only 10% is going to be allocated. And also, we need to consider that as black people, we are diverse in this country. So our diversity should be taken into account as well, because when it also says or speaks to black people, it does not give us clear an indication as to say how is it going to be shared among these racial groupings. Are we not also doing what the apartheid government did if we are going to be sideline people according to racial groupings?
Okay. Okunye siyazi ukuthi ke si Africa or South Africa si third world country. So lama countries uma efika already asebonile ukuthi uoyela ungambiwa eSouth Africa. Bazowumba sacela ugovernment akwazi ukucontrol ukuthi sesiwumbile ke sicela ukuhluza uhluzwe yithina. Kuzoba namathuba futhi ke ukuthi thina ke singakwazanga uyofaka lapha yana embonini kulo 10% ozokwanda sikwazi ukusebenza. So ngalokho nje sacela ukuthi ene ugovernment kube uyena ozoba phambili kakhulu, singa underminewa inkampani zangaphandle ezweni lethu kumnotho wethu zifike zisitshela ukuthi sine oil ziphinde futhi zizingamele ngaphezulu kuzo lezo sitshela ukuthi zizokwenza njani ngoba bazi ukuthi bona bayikhondla khondla banemali banawo wonke ama resources thina asinawo.
It will be distasteful, Chairperson, if we are going to be told by multinational companies from Europe or any parts of the world that firstly, they've discovered that we have oil and gas in this country. And secondly, they want to tell us how much are they going to give us. And then thirdly, they want to tell us also that after these resources have been extracted in our country, they're going to take them abroad for processing. So what we want, Chairperson, is that we be given a right to process our own resources. Then after that, they can maybe leave with material that has already been processed. However, if they are going to extract this material in our country and then take them for processing again, we think that will be unfair to us as citizens of this country. They will be exploiting us if they will be doing that, because they know very well that we don't have the powers to stand against that. So our proposal, or my suggestion, is that the government should be given powers to be able to say what needs to happen, to be able to say, to chant the way forward in terms of controlling how these multinational companies do their operations.
Ngiyabonga ngokwami nje cha ngizoyiphikisa le bill up until ikwazi ukumitha thina abantu base South Africa. And again last week besilana climate change ekhozwa yiwo futhi lezi inkampani lezi silwile kakhulu ngomonakalo abawenzayo, and namhlanje sithiwa sizophasisa ibill ukukhiqiza u-oil eSouth Africa. Aren't we contradicting ourselves or niyas confused nje? I don't know, ngiyabonga.
From where I'm standing, Chairperson, I would like to register that I am standing to reject this bill. If you remember very well last week, at least about last week, we were here also debating the issue of climate change. And now that's also we wanted to reject it because it contributes to polluting our air and our environment. So today we're here, when we are now being asked about a bill about these mineral gas and oil extraction in our country. We believe that they are also responsible of ensuring that our environment is polluted. So if we are saying today we want to speak about this bill or give powers to make sure that this bill works, aren't we contradicting ourselves when we say climate change is a problem to our country? However, on the other hand, we are speaking of passing the bill that seeks to suggest that oil and gas should be made a law to be extracted in our country. So we reject the bill until such proper amendments are made. I thank you.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members of Parliament,
Sibingelela usihlalo, siphinde sibingelele futhi ke namalungu eParliament.
and good morning, each and every one of you that are here.
Sibingelele kunina nonke nikhona ngaphakathi ke ehall.
So my name is Desmond Desa. I'm an environmentalist. I live in the shadow of the biggest chemical industry in South Durban.
Gama lami ngusteze ndisa, ngiphuma ke lapha ke kwezobhekelelwa kwezemvelo. Ngihlala khona ke nami ke la eNingizimu Afrika futhi ngibhekene nazo ke inkinga esibhekene nawo wonke kumuntu waseNingizimu Afrika.
So, you know, we left our churches, our mosques, and our temples this morning because we see this bill as one of the most critical bills if it goes through. So we are here to put our views across about this bill and why we reject the bill completely.
Siyeke eziningi izinto ke ezenzayo njengoba kusuku lwesonto ke namhlanje ngabe sihambile semasontweni sihambile ke sayokhonza senza okuningi okuhlukahlukene kodwa ke sikhethe ukuza la osuku namhlanje ukuzokwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke sibeka imbono yethu nezathu ukuthi kungani simelene ke nokuphasiswa ke kwalomthetho sivivinyo.
And I think you've heard a lot about why people reject the bill completely. And so do I. Completely reject the bill. And I'll give you the reasons right now.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ke senizwile ngaphambili ukuthi ke yiziphi ke izizathu ezenza ukuthi ke abantu baphikisane nokuphasiswa kwalomthetho sivivinyo. Nami ke ngime phambi kwenu nje ngizosho njalo ukuthi cha angihambisana nalomthetho sivivinyo ke izizathu zalokho ngizobe senginikezela ke mangiqhubeka nenkulumo.
If we want to address climate change, then this bill should be scrapped.
Uma ngabe ke ungafisi ukuthi ube nokuguquka kwesimo sezulu ke esingesihle lo mthetho sivivinyo kudingakala ukuthi nje ususwe ungabe khona.
And we know too well in this province that that people have died in this province. Over 500 people have been affected with the climate change, and many people have lost their homes, many people have lost their school books, many people have lost their uniforms because of climate change that has been caused by the petrochemical giants of Shell, BP, Sasol, and they are all over the world. Wherever they go, they destroy.
Siyazi ukuthi ke esifundazweni sakaZulu Natal sekubeke nesimo sokuguquguquka kwesimo sezulu ke esingalawuleki inhlobo esesibuleleke abantu abaningi ababalelwe ngaphezulu kuka 500 abantu ke labo impilo zabo ezithathwe izikhukhula ngenxa yakho ukuguquguquka kwesimo sezulu ngendlela ke engalawuleki okudalwa yizo lezi inkampani kubalwa phakathi kwazo ke uBP Shell nabo ke o-engine abahamba ke wonke amazwe kodwa mabefika kulowo mazwe bangena kona bafike nje bamoshe ke yonke into esuke kade ke ikhona.
This bill has been written in a way to try and fool the public to agree. But I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad to hear what people have said because they have found out it's going to protect those very old, those very same oil corporations, Shell, BP, and all of them in their drills, so that if they invest, we cannot stop them from drilling in our ocean because the government will be held responsible in international courts.
Siyajabula kakhulu ukuthi ke ngime lapha phamukweni namhlanje ngizwe zonke futhi ke izinto esikhulunyiwe oza kwethu abezela ngaphambili bafike babeka embono yabo okungijabulisayo ukuthi ke nabo baqonda kahle ukubaleka kokuphikisa lo mthetho sivivinyo ngoba ke lo mthetho sivivinyo ke uzosicindezela ayikho into enhle osizela nayo laba zinkampani ke ezinkulu okubalwa phasi kwazo ke uShell no BP ezikwenzayo nje ukuthi zona zifuna ke imali sizocela ukuthi uhulumeni ubambisane ke nathi ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke kuba wona uhulumeni olawula ukusebenza kwabantu ke bafana nezinkampani esengizibalile.
You were talking about oil corporations that are over 70 years old. Shell, BP, Engen, Sasol, all of them. 70 years, ask yourself, what have they done in this country? Because what we have seen, destruction and chaos and huge unemployment.
Sikhuluma ke la ngeinkampani esibala phasi kokunye ke uShell, uSasol, uBP zibalelwa ke eminyakeni ke ewu70 ubudala zikhona nje isebenza. Kodwa ke kufanele siyibuze umbuzo lezi zinkampani ke kuyo yonke leminyaka yini eziyenzele ke abantu ngoba yonke indawo la sihamba khona noma zonke indawo la isebenza khona zifike zone zenze ke omkhulu umonakalo.
If we don't, we are contradicting ourselves. If we don't address climate change, the very same corporations in other parts of the world are signing up so that they address climate change. Why are they coming to South Africa to drill for oil and gas, which is going to increase the climate?
Asikuqonde ke sikhuluma ngakho njengoba siningizimu Afrika uma ngabe sithi lo mthetho sivivinyo sixoxisana ke ngawo ke ngokweqiniso ngoba ke iqiniso lithi ke lezi inkampani ke zangaphandle nazo ke futhi ziyaqonda ukubaleka lokulwisana nokuguquguquka kwesimo kwesezulu ke okungalawuleki. Yingani ke pho zifuna ukungena ezwenikazi laseningizimu Afrika ziphinde futhi ke zona zizoba uoil nayo ke igas okuzophinde futhi kudalele thina inkinga yokuthi isimo sezulu sethu sisithole ke sesingasalawuleki.
If they thought carefully about this bill, firstly, they would have considered that the sea level is rising. They would have considered that we have strong currents, and we know over the years how many ships have gone shipwrecked. Whether it's in Richards Bay, where coal ships have cut in half, or whether it's in Durban, where ships and containers have sunk in the Durban harbor.
Uma ke becabangela ke abantu baseningizimu Afrika kakhulukazi labo abahlala ke ngasogwini fanele ngabe banolwazi olwanele ukuthi ke mningi umonakalo osewudalekile vele khona ke lapha ke ogwini sibala ke phasi kokunye ukulimala ke kwemkhumbi ethola ke impahla esebenza khona ke ogwini sibala phakathi kokunye ke indawo njengayo ke Richards Bay okanye ke umasipala wasemhlathuze oyisolo ke usenkingeni ke nawo ukungcoliseka kwamanzi ke olwandle ukuphakama kwamanzi kolwandle ke okungalawuleki kanye ke nemimoya evunguza ke kulolugu nayo esiyinkinga ebantwini noma ke abahlali abahlala kulezo indawo.
Why do we need this bill when we already, you've said, Chair, that this bill will protect, it'll bring in the government will have a state oil corporation. But we have Mossel Bay, Moss Gas, that has run down and has lost a lot of money over the years and has got independent shareholders in it as well. So why do we need a bill to provide a company to protect that, a new company, when we have a company in South Africa?
Sinayo inkampani eningizimu Afrika lapha eyaziwa ngeMossel Bay. Inkampani ke leyo siyisebenze ke la eningizimu Afrika esikhathana ke eside. Kodwa ke nayo ayenzanga kahle ngoba siyazi ukuthi ke iningi imali balahlekele. Kuningi futhi ukungenzi kahle kube khona ngasohlanganiseni ke lwabo. Kodwa ke uhulumeni ufuna ukusitshela ukuthi kunenkampani entsha abafuna ukuthi bayakhe ezobhekana futhi ngqo nokumbiwa ke phansi eyesingake ke lenkampani isidingo sayo ke siyini ngoba vele sinayo inkampani ekwenzayo ke lokho engenzanga futhi ke kahle kufanele ngabe nayo iyabhekwa ngenxa ke yezinto ezingalawulekanga ngendlela befanele izilawuleke ngayo kuyona.
And we're fully aware that the oil industry and the drilling will not create jobs in their own documents of Sasol, of Eni, of Shell. This is a specialist work, specialist job, which we don't have the skills in South Africa. So maybe 7 or 8 people will be brought from overseas to operate those rigs. We don't have it yet.
Okunye ke sekuqonda kahle kamhlophe njengabantu baseningizimu Afrika ukuthi ke lemsebenzi noma kokwenziwa noma kuphasiswa lo mthetho sivivinyo akuyona ke into elethela ukusiza thina njengabantu baseningizimu Afrika. Isizathu ukuthi ngisho njalo ukuthi ke asinawo phela thina amakhono okwenza lo msebenzi. Lokho ke kuchaza ukuthi vele kuzophinde kulandwe ke futhi abantu ngaphesheya kwezilwandle kuyibona ke abazoqondana ke ngqo nokwenziwa kolomsebenzi ngoba banamakhono ke anele nolwazi lokuthi lo msebenzi wenziwa kanjani. So uma ngabe kuthola umsebenzi uzosiza ke thina ukuthi sithole amathuba omsebenzi lokho akulona neze iqiniso ngoba siyazi ukuthi nje basingenawo amakhono nje kusho ukuthi ngeke sibe ingxenye yokwenziwa kolomsebenzi.
And if we want to talk about that the oil companies want to do something for the country, well, since 1994 They have got certain elites that have got shares in those companies that don't represent the communities or the people that live in this country or in the city.
Sinalo ke futhi kulwazi ukuthi lento kayiqala ukwenzeka kusukela enyakeni ka1994 bakhona ke vele labo abasemazingeni aphezulu ebebesithola ke beba ingxenye yalezi inkontileka kodwa ke nabo abakazi babasize abasemazingeni kaphansi njengoba ke futhi kukhulunywa ngalomthetho osivivinyo ke nje kusazobhekwa futhi ebantwini kabafanayo okusho ukuthi ke labo ababese ngasizakala ngekuqaleni basoziqhubeka futhi baphinde bengasizakali kuphinde kunekezwe labo ababese betholile vele kusukela enyakeni ka1994.
And I can't understand why we are shifting the responsibility to the Petroleum Association of South Africa for them to be referee and player. They have failed in their oversight. If you look at the refineries in Durban or in Cape Town or in Total or in Sasolburg, they're in a mess. What role do they play in oversight because they've done nothing? In fact, people have complained bitterly that the Petroleum Association has failed, not only in the mining, but also in the oil refineries. Yeah, can you imagine how they're going to run, how they're going to manage the drilling?
Kuphinde ke futhi kumangaze kakhulu ukuthi kungani uhulumeni efuna ukukhomba ke ngenjumbano kanye ekhombe ke iminwe lapha kulabo abaphethe ngasohlangothini ke lokwenziwa kwawo kumsebenzi ke lo wokukhiqizwa kwawoyela wasolwandle kanye ke nayo ke igas. Kungani kufike kube yibona abashaya umthetho kuphinde futhi kube yibona abawulandelayo kungabe khona umuntu ozokwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi ke bona bayagadwa kuba basebenza ngendlela yini bakhomba ke iminwe enkampanini enjengo Shell enkampanini enjengo Sasol nenkampani ke enjengabo ko OBP no Engine kodwa ke bona ngasohlangothini ke lwabo akukho okucacile nokukhulumekayo ukuthi ke ukuhluleka ke kwabo bazoqonda kanjani noma bazoqondisa kanjani ukuthi ke esikhatheni esizayo kube impumelelo.
It is clear that what is trying to be created here is similar to what they've done to ESCOM. We have a Minister of Enterprise, we have a Minister of the Minerals and Energy, now we have a Minister of Electricity. What is going on? Do we need the same here as well? 3 people when 1 person could do the work. Or employ workers, more workers and less ministers. That's what we need.
Kucacile kulomthetho osivivinyo ukuthi ke into eqonde ukwenziwa la uhulumeni ukuthi nje usinikeza ke into efanayo nalethi siyibonile yenzeka lapha kweEscom ukusola sinongqongqoshe ke abathathu kodwa kababhekelele into eyodwa mawuthi uyabheka sinomngqongqoshe obhekelele ke ugesi ungqongqoshe obhekelele ke izinkampani zikahulumeni ungqongqoshe obhekelele kwezokumbiwa phansi ke namandla okuyinto ebukeka iyodwa ke emehlweni ke ngabe yinto leyo esimisele ngokuyenza yini na kulolu hlelo oluphakanyiswa kulomthetho osivivinyo kwesunikezwayo ngoba kungabe kunikezwa kwamathuba omsebenzi abantwini abaningi kunokuthi kuqashwe ke abantu ke ngamunye bebe ngongqongqoshe beholeke eningi imali.
The bill fails completely. It does not address the protection of the commons, of our water resources, of our land, of our soil, of our air. This bill is giving carte blanche to the oil moguls and the minister to do what he wants to do, and the society will pay the price. And that's the weakness of this bill. It gives power to 1 person, even though it's divided in subsection all over, but it gives power to 1 person where the bill is not going to help us as the people. And so, like you heard my brothers here, they've come up and sister and said, well, we've been fighting, wanting to get a bit of this here for years and got nowhere. This is going to be the same thing where people are going to be, where they're going to be pushed from pillar to post. And that's why the bill must reject it completely.
Okubi ngalomthetho osivivinyo okubi kakhulu ngalomthetho osivivinyo ukuthi ke awunikeze amandla ebantwini bomphakathi okanye amalungu omphakathi angenawo kamakhono nokuqonda ukuthi ke bangangena kanjani sibabe ingxenye yokusebenza ke kulemboni kawoyela nayo ke igas okusho ukuthi ke vele bangabantu abangezukuthola lutho kulolu hlelo ingakho sizoma la sithi ke lo mthetho osivivinyo ke ophakanyiswayo siyawuphikisa sithi ke cha awungaye ke phambili ke enhlobo ngoba ke uyinhlekelele awunalo usizo ebantwini abangamalungu omphakathi uzele nje ukuzosiza ke abantu abambalwa ukubala phasi kokunye ke ongqongqoshe nalabo abazobeka ngabanikazi balezo inkampani ke ezinkulu ezobe zithola ke imali ke kule umsebenzi kodwa abantu bakithi basale ke bona besenkingeni ke enkulu. Siyabonga.
No, thank you. We at this point going to take another round of hands. and we can do that immediately. I would, because we have the 10 chairs here, I would immediately take the 5 from this side, 5 from this side, so that we can get progress. I see the gentleman there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because you are 5, see, just right. Can we have yourself with the caps, eh? And then the gentleman, the lady there, yes, yourself in the pen in hand. Gentleman with the tracksuit, is it? And the gentleman here. Are we, does it add up to the 10? Is it more than 10? All right, in the next round, I will start by yourself, sir. Now you have seen how the first group of people who contributed dealt with time. You know, normally when we go towards the end, people will start leaving and so on. So let us just be considerate of time. I'm not as generous as the chair with the 5 minutes. I'm going to limit it to not more than 3 minutes, so that we can all have a way of participating in this important issue at hand. So you can proceed.
Sizocela ukuthi ke sinikezane ke isikhathi ke esingekho siningi kakhulu ngezathu sokuthi ke sibaningi sifuna ukubeka imbono uma ngabe ukhuluma ucabangela bezemva kwakho ukuthi ke isikhathi singadleki kakhulu ngoba abantu baye baphume ke wona uthola ukuthi ke umsebenzi awusenzeki ngendlela. So cela nje isikhathi sisibeke lapha ke emizuzwini ke emithathu singadluli ke kulokho. Siyabonga. Sengaqala ba.
Sanibonani.
Greetings.
Ngizobingelela iParliament la kwezongumbiwa lo khulumayo usomkhana wakuboka babo wakhe le eNewcastle.
I will greet the portfolio committee before us today. My name is Somkanda and I'm coming from Newcastle.
Let me interrupt you, sorry. The noise levels are getting higher. People say when you start getting tired, the noise levels goes up. So can we just respect so that we can get the audio very, very well for purposes of discussing further?
Sizocela nje bakwethu ukuthi sehlise kancane ukukhuluma ukuze sizokwazi ukuzwa lo baba ophambi kwethu ukuthi ke ubeka uthini.
Ngiyabaxolisela. Lo khuluma la usomkhanda wakuboka babo wakhe okuthiwa wontini le Newcastle. Ngingaphansi kwesisonke organization Environment Justice Network.
I would like to apologize on their behalf, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Somkanda. I am coming from Newcastle under the organization
Sisonke organization Environment Justice Network.
at Sisonke Environmental Organization. Environment
Justice Network.
Justice Network. Thank you.
Ngiyabonga baba. Ngicela ukushaya nje amagalelo mhlawumbe abemabili. Ngingeze ukudla isikhathi ngoba bese ngilulekiwe. Laba fowethu nginenkinga yokuthi sisonke masibuka la uhulumeni lo mthetho webill ushayelo bani uvelaphi lo mthetho esiqhamuka thina sesifunzwa ngawo esingawazi esiqhanywa sekuthiwa nje wozani sizontshena kahle kahle thina zotshelwa thina sifana njengabantu abagitshelwe noma abaqhoqhoshelwe ezweni labo ngoba thina sisezweni lethu la kodwa uhulumeni akanandaba nathi uhlangana namazwe angaphandle ezositshela hayi ukuthi ezoqhamuka ethi bafowethu yazi bengicabanga ukwenza ukuthi uqhamuka ezositshena ngento esikhona vele kusho ukuthi kwalo hulumeni okhona la uphathela umthetho indoda engizoyibeka nje ngithi akusindoda kahle umuntu wesilisa ngoba awukwazi ukuzotshena abantu baphesheya bekutshena ezweni lakho uthi yenzani uyafunzwa yonke into esiyitshenwayo eqhamuka emazweni aphesheya njengoba ngeke ngezuza kwethu ethi ikhona i-engine I'm sure isithi ayisiwe ngokubona kwakhe phesheya kusho ukuthi kwathina sesithengisiwe amandla.
It's concerning, Honorable Chairperson, when it comes to a bill of this nature, because it does seem to me as if a decision has already been taken as to what is going to happen about the bill. So the only thing that is happening here today is a formality to say to us that at least you've came to consult with us. But I don't think any meaningful contribution from our part can do anything. It does not even seem that our government is a genuine party to us, simply because the decisions are not made by the government, by the look of things. They are made elsewhere by those multinational companies abroad in Europe. And this government is then been told what to do. It's been told how to treat its people. So we don't feel represented, and we have a problem with that because this is our country, this is our land, and we must have a say in what happens in our land.
Ngiyabonga mhlonishwa ingilozi izosuka ihambe mina ngumuntu wasemakhaya ophambanisa izinkuni kanje ngicela ukushaya ngendlule ngoba phela kuyayithiwa lekhiso ke lingenasici cha into ehluphayo la iyodwa nina bakwezulu eliphezulu parliament elikhulu bakhulu nina bafowethu kodwa angazi noma kuyanihlupha nithina ngathi inhlalo yethu la ngoba mangabe ngithatha ngibheka manithi niyothatha uoil olwandle kusho ukuthi nina ninandaba nemvelo ukuthi ofish bayaphela basiza ngani thina mabesolwandle ngale kokuthi sibadle lezi lokazana esolwandle kusho nje vele indaba yazo ayinandaba kahle kahle izwe nje uhulumeni uyalibulala njengoba engenandaba nathi ingakho ngithi umuntu wesilisa indoda ngeke ivume ukuzoshayelwa amanye amadoda ezweni lawo ngenxa yemali iyahlupha indaba yemali ngoba iqedizwe ngoba kubantu akusimali thina njengosisonke namanje ngithi angivumi le ndaba le bill ezokwenziwa la kuzodliwa imali nje yethu yentela engabe siyadla kuvuleka amathuba emisebenzi simoshi isikhathi sethu esigaka sizohlala la ngoba inkulumo sesiyithola kuphi kuma social media kodwa thina sinemayini inqwaba ngale ngakithi eyikhiphi ilahla balibiza anthracite coal kodwa asikaze sine isco lesigcina iEsolometal asizakala ngalutho abantu bakithi bangahamba ubhekele emazweni akithi abaningi abantu abasebenzi babambe enzima kodwa umnotho wethu uyathatha usiwaphesheya umbuzo wami wodwa ke hulumeni mangabe ukuthi wena unendaba nathi uke wezani wena eNewcastle njoba kunemayini sinayo thina farmers hall indawo enkulu engakhona ukuthi hoste izihoste ngisho abantu abasekuhlaleni ngale kwaseThawini ukwayihlupha ukuzosibona thina ngale sengigcina ke mhlonishwa wami ngoba ngithe ngiyahlaba ngiyadlula la ngiyacela sihlalo uphi usihambile angikho kahle mangamboni kodwa bengifisa izwe lento ngoba sengishaya yokugcina nci manje sinenkinga yemayini abayibiza ifuture coal ngale ngakithi ifuture coal mining engakubeka ngokusobala ngisacela ukuthi ayichithe uhlalo ngisacela ukuthi ayivale akayivale uhlalo ngoba isholo yona yathi ihlulekile kodwa ubani uRagavoni le ndoda yangapha yangapha enhla angifuni ukusho ukuthi kuphi kodwa ikhondoda yangapha ngenhla ayifuni ukuzoyivala le mayini ngani na uhlulekile ukugcina i-social and labor plan ka-2019 to 23 imchithileke leyo nto leyo besicela le mayini le masizonilayela uma ufika nje eNewcastle uya ngasempondo ejele ikhona lapho leyo mayini abayibiza i-future coal very corrupt siding uma ukuthi uhulumeni soyohlala khona emasangweni ngoba na last sengcina nilokhuzile uDMR usibalekele sithi siyakuye lapha ema-office last Sunday besila sayichitha indaba yebill niyazo bafowethu niyazo ma comrade siyichithile indaba yebill kodwa wabuya uhulumeni wathi siyiphasisile kusho ukuthi vele nina nizodlala ngathi yindaba ningaveli niyeke ukuhlala lapha ezihlalweni ngoba nasixhaphaza ngiyabonga.
Honorable Chairperson, it is concerning on our part.
Order, let's hear the interpretation.
Thank you, Chairperson. It is concerning on our part, Honorable Chairperson. The understanding is that this bill does not seek to benefit us in any way. We don't see any benefits that is going to come out of this bill. We have quite a few concerns out of the bill, Honorable Chairperson. The first one is that we do have a mine called Future Coal in Newcastle. It is not fully operational, Honorable Chairperson. What we are expecting out of that particular mine is for it to be shut down completely and it to be closed because it's not assisting our people. They've already declared themselves that the mine has failed to produce what they've promised to produce. So they've not benefited our people, and also that mine has failed. It should be collapsed, and that call for a collapsing of that particular mine should come from the Honorable Chairperson. So we are saying, Chair, you must go to Newcastle yourself and you must collapse that mine yourself. Because you are coming to us with this proposed bill. We are calling it a proposed bill. However, we do not believe it is a proposed bill. We believe that it's already been signed or it has already been agreed amongst yourselves as to what the decisions are going to be. We do have Antras coal. That is a mine that is operating in the north of KZN as well. They are working that side, producing coal. However, they're not getting the support that they should be getting. We are the people of this land in the north of KZN. We are not receiving any attention from the part of the government. There is no assistance. We are also concerned about the environment when it comes to the ecosystem, the destabilization that is going to be happening in our oceans. We know and understand fully well that people who are living along the coast do have an economy that they've established for themselves along the coast through fisheries. Now, what is going to happen to the ecosystem itself? What is going to happen with those fishes in those waters there? Now, if they get extinct or they die, how is the economy of the coastline is going to be, how is the government going to ensure that the economy of the coastline exists and does not seek to be collapsed by these activities? The multinational companies come and tell our governments what to do. They give directives straight to our government, and our government doesn't seem to be independent when it comes to decision making. So that is concerning, Honorable Chairperson, because it doesn't seem that we have a president who's concerned about us. It doesn't seem that we have a president who's got guts, who knows how to take a stand and speak on behalf of South Africans. We only have a government, or rather a president, who's easily swayed by the multinational companies for money gains, which is not going to establish any sort of assistance or bring any sort of employment or any benefits to the people on the ground. So we are saying we reject this bill with all contempt that it deserves until such time that the portfolio committee comes to us with a proper articulated bill that speaks to the needs and the interest of our people. I thank you.
Ngibingelele kwikomiti ne support staff yase parliamente nosihlalo ngamboni ngaphambili.
I would like to take the opportunity to greet the portfolio committee, the members of parliament and the honorable chairperson, though I'm not seeing him at front.
Oyamathuntuliwana lokhulumayo ngisuka la nje kwezantsi kwamashu kwa Ward 41.
My name is Oyana Matsuntulwana, I come from Kwamashu, Ward 21.
Ngifuna ukusho nje ngisaqala ukuthi I fully support the bill, but I want to add the following things to it.
I want to state on my first opening line that I do support the bill. However, I would like the following additions to be made on the bill.
Maybe also, I just want to add that my views represent my thought and no lobby.
Ngifisa futhi ukuthi ngibeka nje kucace ukuthi ke imbono engizoyibeka la imbono yami akuyona ke imbono mhlambe ehlose ukuthi ke mhlambe incenxa abathize.
One, I'm worried about the DMRE only proposing 10% for local businesses.
Into yokuqala nje engangiphathi kahle ukuthi ke uDMR ukhuluma ngo10% akathi ke ubekelwe ke eceleni ngabantu ke abansundu.
Mina ngibone ngazuthi 40% is what local businesses should get, 51% must be contributed by the state and 9% for other entities.
Ngibona ngathi mina u40% wona ke ongabaleka ukuthi mhlawumbe unikezwe kwabantu kabansundu bese kuthi ku51% kube ke okwahulumeni ebese kuthi ku9% kube ke yilowo ozophathwa ke izinkampani ke lezi ke ngaphansi kwahulumeni.
Ngike ngamlalela kakhulu usihlalo Mr Luzipo ku-input yakhe. I'm afraid about the capitalization of the ventures that must take part in this new law. The bill is silent on government funding. I want to propose that DMRE must play a larger role in the financing of the Upstream Petroleum bill, not to leave us to the hyenas or Shell, Total, and Abokaltex.
Kungiphatha kambi ke ukubona noma ukuzwa ukuthi ke inkampani enjengo Shell Total kanye no Caltex kusabuke ngathi bona futhi abazoqhubeka bahlomule kulomthethosivivinyo thina ke sishike ngaphandle sizocela ukuthi ke umbuso kube yiwona kwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi kuvikela thina abantu abasemazingeni ngaphansi ukuthi nathi sibe ingxenye yalabo abazohlomula kulomthethosivivinyo.
I fully support the establishment of a separate petroleum state-owned company. This company will respond to the new emerging problems of this sector, i.e. the ballooning oil prices, and an agency that will look at the petroleum price every time there are seismic changes in the market.
Ngizokuxhasa ke futhi kakhulu ukuthi ke lo mthethosivivinyo ke ophakanyiswayo njengoba besho ukuthi bafuna ukuthi ke kube nenkampani ezoba ngaphansi ke kombuso kanye kohulumeni ukuthi cha ngiyahambisana ke kakhulu ke nalokho ngoba kuzosiza ekuthenini kwezesiqiniseko sokuthi ke thina abantu ke abasemezingeni ngaphansi ke nathi siyakwazi ukuthi singalimazeki kakhulu kwezomnotho nasehlangothini kwelezi zimali.
Ibill ayingasabi. It must point out explicitly the role that will be played by the foreign conglomerate. I mean BP, Shell, Total Energies. Their role must be reduced or limited to imparting of skills.
Asikubeke kucacile futhi ukuthi ke labo asebevele behlomula abanjengo Shell, BP no Caltex akukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi umsebenzi wabo omkhulu ufanele ke bawenze uqinisekisa ukuthi amakhono abanawo bawafundisa ke labantu abasemazingeni kaphansi ke abangakabe nawo bona amakhono.
The bill is an important one. It opens up the sector to new players, especially the previously disadvantaged, thereby ensuring transformation in the petroleum sector.
Balekile ke lo mthethosivivinyo ke ngesizathu ke sokuthi ke unikeza ke ithuba kulabo bekade ke becindezelo ke eqaleni okanye ke eminyakeni ke ngaphambili kuba yena ke bathole ke ithuba lokuthi ke babe yingxenye yalabo abazohlomula ke kulomnotho uma kwenzeka lo mthethosivivinyo ke kube ukuthi ke uyaphumelela.
Phansi ngicela ukuthatha opportunity ukubonga kwi-portfolio committee on 2 points. One, for allowing public participation of this bill, then commenting on the bill from the plush offices of parliament. Ukuza kweni la siyakwamukela kakhulu. But two, I want to thank you, Ubaba Luzipo nekomiti lakhe, for your visibility and the extensive work you do right around the country. Suke silandele siyabonga kakhulu.
In my closing remarks, I would like to thank the Portfolio Committee for presenting themselves before us and also affording us an opportunity to contribute and give our accounts on this particular bill, and also to ensure that not only those who are in higher structures are beneficiaries of such information, we also stand to benefit to know what is happening in the portfolio committee and also in Parliament itself. So I thank you.
Igama lami nguNokuthula Shibe,
My name is Noktula Shibe.
ngiqhamuke Ward 85.
I come from Ward 85.
Mina ngivumelani nebill.
I reject the bill.
Into eyenza ukuthi ngingavumelani nebill kade kwakuba khona kuba khona ama-mines kwenziwe izinto kodwa still namanje ama-job opportunities awekho.
The reason why I'm saying I'm objecting this bill is simply because we've been told quite many times about the same thing. Mines being established, however, job opportunities are non-existent.
And angivumelani ukuthi kususwe kuma-companies kuphathwa government. Angivumelani nama-companies, angivumelani no-government. Into engavumelani no-government uwodwa uzwani uwodwa. Sihlezi sibabona bekwebhana lapha eParliament. Abavumelani ngento eyodwa bebodwa. Mangase kuthiwa leyo nto iphathwa ibona still ngeke futhi bahambisane nento eyodwa bebodwa.
I'm also objecting, Honorable Chairperson, the separation that the bill is proposing in terms of oil and gas being extracted separately from the mineral department that we know of. And secondly, Chairperson, we know that there are infightings amongst or within government departments themselves. So if they don't agree among themselves on what should be done, how are they going to then have a consensus? So how are they going to reach a consensus on this particular bill, Chairperson?
Ukuthi ngingavumelani bekungcono ukuthi kuqalwe mhlambe ngeyuthi iyahamba yayiswa khona phesheya kuyofundwa awubhathi ama-mining nezinto nokuthi kuzosetshenzwa kanjani ukuze abantu abamnyama abancane bakwazi ukuthi bayitholela isinkwa nabo etafuleni ngoba kuzoza inkampani izosebenza nabantu baba abaziyo aba-skilled thina sisale kanjalo singazi lutho vele sijike singatholi lutho baqhubeke babe right bodwa vele abadlisa mboni laponto.
It would have made sense, Chairperson, if the first point of departure was to send our youth abroad in order for them to regain those skills that are going to be required in those particular working industries. Simply because if we don't have the necessary skills as the youth, what is going to happen is that these multinational companies are going to bring their own people from their own places. And then what is going to happen is that our youth is they are going to end up not being employed simply because they lack skills to be able to qualify for those particular jobs.
Ngiphinde ngingavumelani nokuthi ke uoil uchithe kwelolwandle. Ulwandle thina salihlonipha samaZulu. Sikholela ukuthi lapha kunedlozi elikhona and bekuzolimala ulwandle futhi nathi siyalimala ezabantu abamnyama.
I'm also against the activities that are being proposed by the bill itself that seeks to speak to the oil and gas being extracted in our oceans. As Zulu people, we know that there are rituals or other traditional rituals that we perform along the coast of KZN. And that may also be in conflict to what we believe as a nation. If such things happen into our seas, we don't know what type of contamination that may happen in our coastlines and in our oceans that then may affect the manner in which we do and run our rituals.
Ngiphinde nje ngingavumelani ukuthi ugovernment kubo yena ozophatha lokho. Amacala amaningi corruption esiwabonayo ku TV nezinto ezenzakalayo. So thina kusinika ukuthi mangase kuthiwa futhi balokho bephatha izinto sizoqhubeka sihlupheke kakhulu njengoba manje sihlupheka nje.
I'm also objecting to the proposed bill that seeks to suggest that government must also have a certain percentage of ownership when it comes to the company itself that is going to be running the activities of extracting this oil and gas in our seas or rather in our oceans, simply because of corruption. All the cases that are in our courts speaks to the corruption that involves the government. So I'm against the government being afforded powers to run this entity simply because of high levels of corruption.
Ngiyabonga ngivumelani nebill.
Thank you. I'm rejecting the bill.
Sanborn.
Greetings, you all.
Angibingelele ke usihlalo noma engasamboni futhi. Ngibingelele nabahlonishwa bonke ngokuhlukahlukana kwabo. Igama nguThemba ngisuke eNewcastle.
My name is Temba. I'm coming from Newcastle. I would like to greet the chairperson of the House and also the member of the Portfolio Committee.
Ngibhlungu emoyeni wami ngeParliament njobe ikhona la. Into eyenza ukuthi ngithi ngibhlungu ngeParliament njobe ikhona la. Last week besila kuzokhulunywa ngeClimate Change Bill sayichitha.
Last week we were in this particular venue and the business of the day was on climate change and we rejected that particular bill. However, it pains my heart that today we are here again on a similar bill being proposed to us.
2 kwaphinde kwaba just energy transition kade se eGoli eKempton Park saya khona safike futhi nakhona sayichitha.
Again, there was a just energy transition bill that was proposed. In Gauteng, we went there also and we rejected that bill again.
Siyichithile nje namhlanje sekuzokhulunywa ngegas and petroleum what bill akahle kahle ubani onpush ukuthi nenze lento bafowethu.
We've rejected, we have rejected the two proposed bills, as I've already mentioned before you, Honorable Chairperson. However, today we are finding ourselves having a third bill that is now being proposed to us. Now I have a very burning question is to say, exactly who is pushing the government behind to come and shove such bills down our throats?
Ni proposal ama bill lawa. Kukhona into engiyibuza yona ukuthi with the compliance ye constitution ka 96 chapter 2 ola ukhuluma khona nge bill of right angaze nilandelele kodwa namhlanje lo nisitshela ngama regulation bill, climate change bill, just energy just energy transition molubheka legama elithi just liminish enye into kodwa nina nuhulumeni wethu esathi samvotela ngo94 sithi hayi uhulumeni wethu omnyama lozo senzela izinto ezi right sikwazi nathi ukuphila, but at the very same time nina niyasicindezela nuhulumeni omnyama.
There is a clause, Honorable Chairperson, that is enshrined in our Constitution as amended of 1996 that speaks to the rights of South Africans. However, we're finding it difficult, Chairperson, to understand these bills that are now being recommended by the government to us, or rather, that's the government wants us to fully participate on when we know that there is a gap in terms of that a particular rights that was enshrined in our Constitution that speaks to the rights of the residents of this country that does not seek to be getting attention from the government to say that these things that were the agreements enshrined in our Constitution should also be followed up the same way in which the government is doing with these bills.
Angengimangale le camera le njobe ishootha namhlanje. Akusiyo oqala namhlanje ishootha le camera. Kunama clip ajumpwayo la kuthiwa jumpa wena because of money. Uyabo? So now ngeke ngimangale futhi njoba sikhuluma la baningi abantu abakhulumile. Izinto esikhala ngazo ngohulumeni wethu. Kodwa kunabantu abazocontrola le camera lokuthi wena jumpa le clip le ukuze ingazi ukuvela kubantu ababaphethe abangongqiwa. Kodwa into ebhlungu njengoba kuzo implement wonke lama bill lawo noma kuzo regulate lama bill lawo kune age restriction ethi 18 to 30 years kodwa nikaze nilungise sibhizi siyahlupheka nithi senze njani thina sino 31 years kuya ku 61 years.
I am concerned, Honorable Chairperson, very much concerned, simply because what you came here to do today does not seek to speak to us as people of this country. It does seem to be only the interest of the elite. I will make a practical example, that being the fact that there is an age restriction in this country that speaks to those who are from 18 years to the age of 35. Now, those are the only people who are accommodated in this country. However, if I am 35 and above, where should I go in this country? Because it does seem that I'm not accommodated and nobody cares about my interest and what should happen to me. My other concern, Honorable Chairperson, is the fact that we know very well that in these proceedings, there are those who are only interested in controlling the cameras. So we know that there are clips and particular footages that are not going to be appearing, Honorable Chairperson, on those rolling cameras, simply because it does not suit the narrative of those who are behind or are supporting this particular project. Now we are against that. As I'm speaking before you today, I want to register it on record that I'm aware that some of the clips will be removed because I believe those clips will not be speaking to what the elite wants to hear.
So that is, as you wrap up, you remember about the 3 minutes. I'm not referring to the skip clip.
It's only 3 minutes left now.
No, I'm saying as you wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, bafowethu, okay, right. Bengifuna ukukhuluma kodwa akunandaba. Enye into engifuna ukuyibeka kini bashonishwa. Thina ngeke size sinibukele phansi njengoba nuhulumeni wethu. Singeke sinibukele phansi niyavikelana nina mangabe khona umuntu oyenza iphutha eningizimu Afrika omholi wecountry. Nimvikele ekutheni thina sibuka ukuthi nine parliament kukhona abantu enibavikelayo uma benza izinto ezwrong. Kodwa mina mangatholakala ngitshontsha iqanda lenkukhu ngigwetshwa 5 years. Kodwa umuntu ohola icountry owenza izinto ezibhlungu nezisicindezelayo siyicountry nina kodwa ningabahlonishwa as honorable rule of parliament niyahluleka ukuthatha inqumo ukuthi no umuntu mayenza ukuthi siyamkhipha ngevote of no confidence. Kodwa why kunihlula lokho?
I'm also concerned, Honorable Chairperson, of the fact that as a mere citizen of this country, our rights, they don't seem to be equated to those who are seen as to be the elite. I am simply saying this because if I'm found, for example, to have stolen...
We would want to hear what is coming through from the submission. Please.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll make a practical example. If I'm found as a mere citizen of this country to have stolen an egg, I will be taken into custody and I will be locked up for at least a period of 5 years. But it doesn't happen with state officials. And it is concerning because it does look like there's protection among those who are known as the elite. And they protect one another. They does not want their corruption or their dirty dealings to come to the public. Now, that should be something that the government should fix because we want transparency. We want the government also to be held accountable and for the government to do what is right in line as to what we expect as the members of the public.
Sengigcina nje bashonishwa. Ngifisa ukudlulisa lokho. Ibhlungu into ethi how come you become a president whereby you killed the 42 people for the mine workers, go 2012. At the very same time, president wethu nihluleka ukuthatha ama-action nina. At the very same time, nizoregulator izinto zowoyela ngomuntu owabulala abantu nithi president. Now, umbuzo wami uthi abasebenzi babekhalela i-minimum living wage yokuphila ka-12,500 is because uyazi ukuthi leya platinum imenzisa ama-billion of billion rand. Kodwa namhlanje sino president owayebulala abantu. Nani kupromotha kanjani? Ngiyabonga. Nesitayisa.
Order. Let's hear the interpretation so that we make sure that it gets into the bill.
It's concerning, Honorable Chairperson, to know that currently in Parliament we have a president that we don't believe that should be in the Union building, simply because that particular president has killed at least about 40 people in the mining industry. That we know for a fact. And we also know, Honorable Chairperson, that the fact that those mine workers were protesting and asking for an increment of their salaries by 12%. However, they were not given that particular 12%, Honorable Chairperson. They were killed. So we are saying that the president, the sitting president, is not a legit president to be sitting in union buildings. We therefore ask that at least something be done about that particular president, because we feel that the state and the government as a whole is selling us out as the citizens of this country, and we're not happy about that. I thank you.
As you start leadership, we understand, we said, because it is a public meeting, we are going to register everything that you say. We don't want to cut and paste and so on. It's unfortunate that at this time I would ask you not to disappoint me in as far as time is concerned, so that you zoom into the actual bill. Don't miss the opportunity to zoom into the actual bill so that we get what you have to say. We are still going to other places where they will have input, and you might have missed a golden opportunity to get your input about exactly clauses and so on, which you would want to see or not to see, or to reject or not to reject on the bill. So you can go through, sir.
So cela ubambe isikhathi baba uqonde ngqo kumthetho sivivinyo saya kwenye indawo mungezokhuluma ngomthetho sivivinyo but nizolahlekelwa isikhathi ukuthi nikhulume nawo ngoba kwesinye indawo basazokhuluma ngawo kodwa ke singathatha kithuba manje uqade isikhathi siyabonga.
No, asibonga ithuba sihlalo.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chair.
Igama uSiphiwe hlala bemzonda wakabthilizi le Ward 16 khona.
My name is Piwe Buthelezi from Ward 16.
Ngiqhamuka kwicompany iAbekit Investment affiliated ku West Integrated Business Association.
I'm from a private company. Abekit company.
Yes. No hlalo umuntu uzozama mhlamba ukuthi engabe esabuyele emuva uzozama ukuyiskipha le ethinta iNature age group nayo le ama camera na issue yaseMpumalanga.
I will skip the issue of Nature age group and the Mpumalanga issue.
No hlalo mhlamba umuntu uthi akakuveze la hlalo ukuthi inesmashi parliament eselikhona kodwa unale concern yokuthi ngifila engazi uhlambe sesigitshelisa istimela sesisukile sesamba ngizochaza usikungani ngisho.
May I highlight, Chairperson, that we understand, we're cognizant of the fact that Parliament is there, but I feel like we are being asked to rubber stamp something that is already in motion.
Mina hlalo hlambe bengizothi lizothi Parliament emangabe lize la lize nabo labade benza one research uyibona abadiscoverile ukuthi kunowoyela because kunama consent ekufanele ngabe hlawumbe siwa director kubona ukuze mhlambe sikwazi ukuphuma kule ndlini ezinye zezinto seyilaphekile kodwa ngenxa yokuthi njengamanje sekufila senifika senizokhuluma ukuthi hlawumbe imiphi imbono yethu concerning ibin ngibona us already sesiselele ngemuva.
My thinking was that when Parliament comes to us, they should be coming with the researchers that informed the creation of this bill, so that when we engage properly with the creators, because now I think like it's already in motion, our inputs won't matter that much.
Ngokucabanga kwami nangomuzwa wami ngicabanga ukuthi kwakufele wasekuqaleni kusenziwa iresearch before idiscovery le yalowoyela kwakufele sibe ingxenye ezumphathi wase South Africa especially kakhona la eThekwini.
My thinking was that as soon as the oil and the gas has been discovered, as part and parcels of the research, we as the people of eThekwini should have been engaged.
Because ezinye izinto lana uthola ukuthi meyiqhamuka lezi zinto ezikanjena eksefele mhlambe sizobeka imbono uthola ukuthi iba yinhle mabisakhulunywa kanje if sekufanele leyo implementwe sesitshelwa ngama policies amaningi uthola ukuthi ayazivalela thina especially thina endle emnyama ekade mhlambe singenazo iaccess kulezi zimo ezikhona njengamanje.
My observation is that many a times you find bills presented to us like in this manner, and they look so good when they are presented to us. But when it's implementation time, we are excluded, and you're told of a lot of clauses and some policies which are red tape and that actually alienates us.
Ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi uma ngabe mhlambe before kuphasiswe le bill noma sibeke imbono ngale bill bekuvele sibheke sitshelwe ngakho konke ubuhle nobubi bakho kubhekwe futhi nokuthi ikuphi ingqinamba esizodlula kuzona ukuze umuntu ngabe uyangena mhlambe ube yiphathi noma uyisupport kodwa ebese neunderstanding kusikahle ikuphi kumele sikulindele ikuphi engamele
I
sikulindele.
think for us to make a meaningful contribution on this bill, we should have been told of the advantages and the disadvantages. We should have been told of the consequences so that we make an informed decision in our submissions.
Okunye mhlambe lana mphathi ohlelo yiloko ukuthi ngifile engazi mhlambe beqale kulungiswa inkinga because ngaphakathi siyazi ngaphathi ezweni into ethinta ipetroleum inama challenges currently. Bengizothi mhlawumbe mina ukube mhlawumbe ade kuzoqala kulungiswe lezo inkinga then ukuzo eda okunye ngesingazi kuzosilethela inkinga engakanani.
Mine is that we should have started fixing the petroleum challenges that we have as a country right now before adding another project or another baby that will need its own attention. But we should be fixing what challenges that we have at this point in time.
Ukusupporta lokho engiqeda ukusho nje mphathi ohlelo. Njengamanje la muzobheka upetrol indlela obiza ngayo la eSouth Africa uphezulu ngalendlela eqhakayo kodwa mengabe futhi uzobheka kunamazwe athenga upetrol khona la ngaphansi eSouth Africa but wona iprice yawo ilisa lawo liless kodwa bebethenga kuthini. So leon to raise ama question amaningi ngingathi sinenkinga currently ekumele si resolve before we move on.
As I said earlier, we have a lot of problems that we aren't dealing with. For instance, the price of fuel, the price of petrol in our country is very high. There's a lot of countries, our neighboring countries, who buy petrol from us, that we supply fuel to. Their liter is far lesser than ours. So those things are not being addressed. We should be fixing that first.
Okuyelana iloko ukuthi uke wathinta omunye okhulume ngaphambi kwami le yeskid development because akuzo assist ekutheni